What's good, everybody? Welcome back to DSM-Media Eagles pregame live. I'm your host. You can find me on Twitter or X at Scotty Drowned, and that's across all social media platforms. And of course, this show is presented to you by DSM-Media Philadelphia. You can find us on X at DSM_media. And we're back here today, obviously, to discuss the Denver Broncos and Philadelphia Eagles matchup starting just under 18 minutes from now at the 1 p.m. start time. I'm actually very joyful. If you were on the NFL Week 5 Turf Talk stream, obviously I let you guys know I had the over 35.5. We just cashed in the fourth quarter. Shout out to former Philadelphia Eagle Carson Wentz throwing a dime to Jordan Addison in the end zone to cash us out. So I'm in a great mood going into this Eagles game. I'm feeling really good. But let's go ahead. Let's dive right in. We don't have a ton of time here. I know I'm getting to you guys late. Yes. Good morning, Terry. Get to kick back today. Yeah, after the big W on Thursday. If you missed that, Terry, we did go over that. I believe it was on Friday afternoon's episode of Turf Talk. We discussed that matchup between the Rams and Niners. Gave your Niners some love. They made their first appearance in our top 10 power rankings because you can't deny what Kyle Shanahan's doing out there with Mac Jones, Brock Purdy, whoever the hell is going to start week to week at quarterback. And the defense looks back with Robert Saleh at the helm. So welcome, Terry. Appreciate you. Oh, you were already tapped in, so no worries then. Appreciate you. D-Rab, go Birds. What's good? Happy Sunday, my brother. NBA to the Galaxy Pod. Slim, tapping in. Appreciate you, brother. First one to tap in the comments section. Alexis, I hear you watching over in the other room. No, that's my wife. Appreciate you tapping in. Nonetheless, Willie, what's good, brother? Happy Sunday. Fly, Eagles, fly. Go Birds. Let's go ahead. Let's dive in. We're going to start, obviously, with a quick overview, and then we're going to dive into keys to victory for the Philadelphia Eagles ultimately. But what are we playing today? What are we looking at in this Denver Broncos team? In this matchup with the Denver Broncos, who are coming off a big win on Monday Night Football against the Burrow-less Bengals, 28-3 in Denver. Bo Nix was able to get that offense moving. They were able to have, I believe, over 500 yards from scrimmage between rushing and passing. So they put on a display in Monday Night Football. And it's got a lot of pundits, national pundits specifically, thinking that this is going to be the game that the Broncos set the stage. They're going to take down the defending Super Bowl champions, the 4-0 Philadelphia Eagles. The struggling passing offense of the Philadelphia Eagles is going to run into this Pat Surtain-led secondary of the Denver Broncos that is very sturdy. You look at all the numbers for the Broncos defense. They lead the NFL in sacks with 15. They lead the NFL in QB hits with 41. They lead the NFL in pressure rate at 47.1%. So they're a very, very effective defensive front, to be more specific. And let's be honest, the Eagles' offensive line, it's supposed to be this juggernaut, right? The past few years, Jeff Stoutland, it's supposed to be the strong point of this roster. They've been getting pushed back a little bit. Eagles haven't been able to run the ball the way they would like to. And I think that alone is impacting the entire offense, obviously. It's a little bit of balance of both, right? The passing offense hasn't been clicking the way it should. So in return, you're not getting space to run the football. You're not getting space to run the football. You're not having successful run attempts. So it's not going to open up the pass, right? So we're not working in balance here. And that's the problem with Philadelphia. So all signs point to the Broncos coming in, wrecking this Philadelphia offense, holding them down. You got that secondary out there. You got that pass rush. All signs point to Denver today, right? That's an inside joke. D-Rap. This is a roll job. 27-7. Okay, Martian. Okay. I will give you a clue. I got the Eagles scoring 27 today as well, my brother. So we're on the same page there. They won 2 games against weak competition. Yeah, I was going to get to that, Martian. It's a great point. You look at their 2 wins, both at home. You had a week 1 win against Cam Ward and the Tennessee Titans, 20-12 at home. They put up 20 points against the Titans. 28-3 win against the Cincinnati Bengals this past Monday in Denver. Was Joe Burrow out there leading? No, Joe Burrow wasn't. That was Jake Browning. You look at their 2 losses, 2 playoff teams you would imagine at this point in the season, 2 3-1 teams right now. The Colts, that was a 29-28 loss in Indy. And then you got the Chargers. That was a 23-20 loss in LA. So they played 2 playoff teams, and they've lost close matchups to them. Now, the interesting thing to me, because this Broncos defense, obviously, was very good last year. Surtain won Defensive Player of the Year. I'm remembering that correctly, right? He did win that. That defense was very good in Bo Nix's rookie season. So I'm not sleeping on that, but they're not indestructible, is what I'm getting at with this point. You look at that Indianapolis matchup, and the reason I point to that is because you look at Daniel Jones and you look at Jonathan Taylor, and I'm saying this very lightly, like a poor man's Jalen Hurts and Saquon Barkley. Dual threat quarterback. Good to great running back in Jonathan Taylor. And they were kind of able to have their way against this Denver Broncos defense. Now, week 2, Jonathan Taylor, 25 carries, 165 rushing yards against the Denver Broncos. Now, I look at the Colts and I think that's a team that needs to run the ball successfully even more than the Philadelphia Eagles do. So if you're the Broncos, they're going to run the fucking football. 6.6 yards per carry for Jonathan Taylor. Daniel Jones versus the Denver Broncos in week 2. Daniel Jones. Clarify here. Daniel Jones. 23 of 34, 316 passing yards, passing tutty, and a rushing touchdown. This doesn't mean that the Eagles are going to come out and just drop 35 on the Broncos. I'm not saying that. I'm just pointing to this to show that this Broncos team is not this juggernaut coming into Philadelphia that Eagles fans should be scared of. The books know that. We see where the spread's at. Just wanted to start the show with that, quite honestly. Get to the point of this Broncos team because I feel like national pundits are starting to sway the discussion. This is a 4-0 Eagles team that has won despite not playing consistently from the offensive side of things. They have won despite not getting consistent production out of their CB2 position, which Keely Ringo gets to start today over Adoree Jackson, which I completely agree with, ultimately. Let's check in the comments here. Brother D-Rab got some chatting in the comments. Let the Eagles defense show up, please. Yeah, that's the other side of things. The defense does need to show up. I will get to that. Martian, I ain't scared of no Broncos. I feel that. Bengals without Burrow. I know that's right. Jalen threw at Surtain last time we played. Smitty even caught a TD. Yeah, that's a great point. Jalen knows Pat Surtain. I'm sure they're familiar with each other from the Bama days, right? He knows Pat Surtain. Go Birds. What up, E-Money? Imani. E-Money. It's just so natural for me to say that. It's a tough nickname. But I imagine it's Imani. Spread is at 4 at home. We saying the Broncos are a 1-point dog. Get the fuck out of here. Yeah, no, I feel that. I did see the spread. Correct me if I'm wrong, D-Rab. Rose to -4.5. No, you are correct. I for some reason I was thinking it went up to 5.5, but no. Because coming into this game, okay, the -3.5 is what I was looking at earlier. Okay, nonetheless. No, you're right, D-Rab. Still sitting at about a 4.5 point spread for the Birds. But let's get into keys to victory to kind of get you through the show here, and I'll make sure we're done by Eagles start time. I'm not going to make you guys late for that, of course. Keys to victory for the Eagles today. They're kind of simple as always. You get back to the basics of football. But this one is very, very obvious. The passing offense has to get going. It's been talked about all week. A.J. Brown has apologized for the tweet, but obviously acknowledged the struggles of the passing offense. Smitty acknowledged the struggles of the passing offense publicly, right? So it's out there. Everybody's hearing about it. Everybody's talking about it. It's a key point for people picking the Broncos over the Eagles this weekend. I think Jalen is going to answer the call today. I think that's a big, big piece in this is Jalen Hurts, obviously, right? And he gets all the criticism constantly. He can't throw the ball, this and that. I go back to the Pittsburgh game last season, right? Because it was very similar talk going into that Pittsburgh Steelers matchup. That was a highly touted Pittsburgh Steelers defense. There's no way the Eagles are going to be able to win without passing the ball successfully against that defense. Jalen goes out there. He goes 25 of 32 from the field, 290 yards passing, 2 touchdowns, 0 INTs, 15 carries, 45 yards, and a rushing touchdown. So 3 total touchdowns, over 300, close to 350 combined passing and rushing yards in that matchup. More specifically, the passing success is what we're looking at there. And I think this is a very, very similar feel, narrative, setting, whatever you want to call it. It's for Jalen to answer the call today, and I think he's going to do that. AJ and Smitty, got to get them involved early, get the confidence flowing. You get AJ and Smitty involved in this game early, the link is going to be uncontrollable today because everybody at the link wants to see that passing offense go off today. And they want to see it go off against this defense, especially because if you can do it against the Broncos, you can probably do it against just about anybody in the NFL. So go out there, prove it today, Jalen. I do think you will. My next key to victory, this offensive line, man, they have to fucking nut up. Stop getting pushed back, especially when we're running the fucking football. They're missing Mekhi Becton. It's very obvious. And that's, I guess it is kind of a diss to Tyler Steen. He's just not as big as Mekhi Becton is. Like, Mekhi Becton is a fucking ogre compared to Tyler Steen. They got to nut up, though. Jeff Stoutland can figure this out. If you have to run the ball outside, run the ball outside the tackles. Lane Johnson, are we good? We can't keep going in and out of the line. If you need to take some time off, get that neck back right, take that time off. Let's get some consistency built in on the offensive line. I like Fred Johnson. It's not. I don't like life without Lane Johnson, to be clear. But if you're beat up, if you're banged up, if you're 75%, give yourself time to recuperate, and we can let Fred Johnson get comfortable in there. Landon Dickerson, very similar situation. Like, he's obviously having some back knee issues to start the season. If you're beat up, brother, take a few weeks off. Let's get somebody healthy in there, and let's let you get right. Because these games aren't as important as the games in January, right? So that is my thing here. If you're not beat up enough to go in the injury report, it's time to nut up, and we need to get this fucking run game going. Let's do it today. The last key to victory here is going to be around the defense. This is a different challenge than what the Eagles have played so far this season. I think Mahomes is the obvious comparison. If you want to say like dual threat quarterback, the way Mahomes was moving and using his legs in week 2 against the Eagles, it could be viewed similarly, except Mahomes is obviously the best fucking quarterback, arguably, of all time. Bo Nix, dual threat, mobile quarterback. What does this defense look like against a quarterback like that? They get very creative with their run schemes. I saw Marvin Mims in the backfield at times last year. He scored last week on Monday Night Football. Saw Marvin Mims in the backfield. They used him creatively. They got RJ Harvey, obviously the rookie running back. And then you got J.K. Dobbins, who is a workhorse. So the Eagles struggled a little bit against the run so far this season. Let's be straight up about it. Can you hone in and lock down this Broncos rushing attack? Because if you can't, it's going to open up their pass, and they're going to have some fun today. So let's hone in, keep Bo Nix in the pocket, shut down that rushing attack, and let's prove that we're a sturdy defense. And let's get better. Let's get better than what we were last week, right? That's what I'm looking at. Keely Ringo gets to start over Adoree. Kind of love that. I love the youth. I love the promise of potential, right? That's something Adoree Jackson doesn't have. He's not going to get better tomorrow. He is what he is at this point in his career. I like Keely Ringo in that spot. Let's get into predictions. We'll get you best bets, and then I'll let you guys get out of here. We got 3 minutes until kickoff. Predictions. Martian, I mentioned to you, 27 points. I do have the Eagles scoring today. This is a sturdy Broncos defense, but I think 27 points is kind of a successful day against the Eagles at the end of the day, holding them to that. I like this game 27-20. Birds. Cover that 7-point spread. Well, more specifically, the 4.5 point spread or 3.5 point spread, whichever one you would go with. I do like the Eagles to cover it. I don't like them to blow them out, like Martian mentioned earlier, a 27-7 or whatever that score was that you put in the comments there. But we need Keely on the fielder. Yeah, no, I agree with that, D-Ram. I do. 27-20. I do like it. Maybe it's a late score to win. Maybe it's a late score for Broncos to make it that 7-point margin. I do like our defense to ultimately show up today and kind of, throw Bo Nix back to reality here. My offensive standout is interesting. You'll see in my best bets why it's interesting. I'm going with Devontae Smith. Obviously, all the noise has been around A.J. Brown this week, and I do think A.J. Brown plays his part in this game. I think he makes some big plays in this game too. I just think Smitty is going to be that consistent chain mover today. I think we're going to see Smitty get into those neat spots in the coverage, find his spots for Jalen to find him and get him the football today. I like Smitty for 5+ catches, 50+ receiving yards today. And once again, just being that consistent chain mover for the Birds. Defensively, this is interesting because Jahad Campbell has balled out this season already. But I think he's going to have a big game today. Now, I want to double check here, which I should have double checked before the pod. Okay, yeah. So I just wanted to double check because I know he was on the injury report earlier. Obviously, Jahad Campbell played very well this year. I like him to step up this week. You're starting to hear those murmurs of Nakobe Dean returning, right? He's going to be off of that PUP list here soon. People, maybe it's split. I've heard some mumblings. People want Nakobe Dean back in the starting lineup. He's a key piece of that defense last year. He's a leader within the defense. But if you put Nakobe Dean back in the starting lineup, who does that unseat? Is it Jahad Campbell? I don't know. I think Jahad Campbell comes out fire under his ass today, and I think he plays even harder when Nakobe Dean potentially returning as soon as next week to the active roster. I like Jahad Campbell with a sack, 4 tackles, maybe a turnover today with Nakobe Dean kind of, I don't want to say breathing down his neck because Nakobe Dean should get his starting job back, in my opinion. But I don't think that means Jahad Campbell goes to the bench or anything like that. I think you can move him around on the defense, edge rusher, outside linebacker, different things you can do with Jahad Campbell. He's a very, very versatile piece. But I like him to kind of blow up the Denver Broncos today, man, and continue his great start to his rookie career. But best bets. I knew I was forgetting something. I'm trying to get out of here. Best bets. I'm ultimately going with the Eagles -3.5. The last time when I got it, it was at -123. It may have moved at this point. I already got AJ touchdown laid. I got it at +170. I believe it's at +200 now. Jalen Hurts passing yards over 186.5 at -112. I'm locking that in. And then Smitty receiving yards over 46.5. I'm locking that in. That's why I said the Smitty pick for offensive standout is interesting. He gets the receiving yards. AJ gets the tutty, in my opinion. Eagles love to fulfill narratives and agendas. So cheers, everybody. Go Birds. Fly, Eagles, fly. That's going to be it for this Eagles pregame live. I will see you guys tomorrow with a recap. Hopefully we'll get our boy Dylan back. Peace, everybody.